Hey guys, I'm back with another video. So let's get started with Microsoft Copilot Studio in this. We already understood what is generative AI and what are the different Microsoft Copilots which are available in different Microsoft tools. Now it's the time we have to decide whether we are going to go with Microsoft Copilot Studio with a low code approach, or we are going to go with Azure AI Foundry, where we are actually going to develop custom agents with the help of Azure AI Foundry portal. Now, in this video, we are not going to talk about Azure AI Foundry. This is totally focusing on Microsoft Copilot Studio. So if you are a developer and looking for a pro code kind of an environment, this video is not for you. But if you are looking for a low code kind of an environment, this is for you. Let's get started. The first thing in this agenda of this video is what is Copilot Studio. We will get familiar with the UI of Copilot Studio, as well as there are a couple of terminologies which we need to understand in this. Like the first, we are going to see what is topics and then how we can work with topics in Copilot Studio. After that, we'll see that how we can use generative AI in the configuring a Copilot Studio based prompts, and then we'll talk about automating tasks with actions. There are various actions which you can use to trigger. We have different types of topics also. We will discuss about all those things in this. And then after this, we will talk about publishing and distributing our Copilot agents. Finally, in the last thing, we are going to talk about analysis. So let's start with what is Copilot Studio. Now, if your organization makes the decision to customize Microsoft Copilot or developing custom agents, Microsoft is actually providing two different tools which you can use. I think we have discussed this thing in the previous video already, so I'm not going to repeat this. But as you can see in this slide, you have Copilot Studio, which is designed to work well for low-code kind of a development scenarios. And on the right side, you have Azure AI Foundry, which is a platform as a service, and it's going to provide a development portal where you can actually have a full control over the language model and you can customize it as you want. In this particular video, we will talk about low code kind of a model. That's why we are going to talk about Microsoft Copilot Studio. We will not use Azure AI Foundry. Azure AI Foundry we will see after a few videos. Azure AI Foundry we are going to see in the coming videos, but right now let's focus on Copilot Studio. As I mentioned, this is fully managed, hosted software as a service which is available from Microsoft. It's going to give you a dialogue and conversational orchestration. So basically the topics and the configuration which we are going to see will help you to customize your logical step-by-step workflow with that orchestration mechanism. You're going to have built-in analytics with security and governance control, so you don't need to worry about any of these things because it's all managed by the studio itself. And then you will have an options to deploy your common chat channels like web, apps, social channels, and even Teams. Now, if you have a question in your mind that why you're going to use Copilot Studio, consider these benefits which are visible on the slide, which are showing you that how Copilot Studio can help you to create custom agents. The first thing is quick deployment. Your agents can be created and embedded into your website with just few clicks, and it's super fast. You can empower your subject matter experts. So your SMEs with the little or no development experience can actually create agents quickly and easily using an intuitive code-free graphical user interface. They just need to have a domain knowledge and your product knowledge. They don't need to have any programming knowledge in this case. Next, we have enable rich and natural conversations. So your Microsoft powerful conversational AI capabilities enables your users to have rich multi-turn conversations which quickly guide them to the right solution with no need to retrain AI models. So model training will not be required. Next, we have take actions. So your agents can chat with your users are great, but agents that can act on their behalf are even better. And that's the reason we have a Copilot Studio where you can create an agent that not only respond to the user, but also takes an actions to an automated task which you can configure inside that. Next point, we have generative AI. Your Copilot Studio makes it easy to include generative AI capabilities into your agent so that it can generate natural language responses based on the journal knowledge which is retrieved from the web, or maybe a specific knowledge source that you provide based on the relevant information for your users, which can be coming from your organizational data or maybe your product related data. Last but not the least, we have monitor and improved agent performance configurations available. Your Copilot Studio includes this kind of a built-in benefits where you can do analytics, you can easily monitor the performance and user satisfaction of your agent. And that basically gives you an insight so that you can improvise your agents. Now in this slide, we are going to talk about some of the key concepts which you need to understand before you explore Copilot Studio. The first thing is topics. Topics are the core of the conversational interactions which your users will have with your agent. Each topic defines a dialogue flow which can be triggered by a specific phrase in the user input or by that event which is going to occur. Your agents can use generative AI to create natural language responses that are grounded in knowledge which you specify. For example, you can create an agent that answers employee questions about expense claims based on your organization's expense policy documentation. In addition to answering questions and providing information, you can define actions that enables your agent to act as an AI agent that performs tasks. When your agent is ready, you can publish it to make it available to users through one or more channels, including Microsoft Teams, emails, websites, and social media platforms. To evaluate the performance of your agents, you can view analytics data that is recorded and reported in Copilot Studio. Now, if you ask me how exactly we can create an agent in Copilot Studio, well, creating a new agent is very straightforward in this. First, you have to ensure that on the right top corner, your Power Apps environment is selected, which is actually allowing you to create your agent inside that. Your environments are created by Power Apps Administrator, and you have to define a security boundary for your apps in that organization. After selecting the environment, you can create new agent by using a natural language to describe the functionality which you want it to have. When you take this approach, Copilot Studio is going to initiate a chat conversation to ask you about how your agent should behave, source of information which it should use, and other features which you want to include inside that. Alternatively, if you want, you can use an agent templates which are available here. There are templates which are provided for some common agent scenarios such as travel planning, store or product information, or maybe financial insights, and there are many more. Now let's deep dive into topics and triggers. You can think of topics as predefined conversational interactions that your agent can engage in. Each topic is triggered either by a phrase which is entered by a user or by an event such as an error. The topics which you create for an agent determines the kind of interaction it is capable of. As you can see in this slide, that if you're going to provide an input like some greetings like hi and hello, is going to revert with the message that, hey, I'm a virtual agent, and then how can I help you with that? Same way, you can see some other triggers which are focusing on weather information or maybe just a goodbye kind of a message. Or if you are getting some kind of an error, it's going to return with, I'm sorry, something went wrong with that. And this is how your agent is going to behave. When you're working with topic, one of the most important things which you have to take care is defining the topic flow. Because topics defined in the conversational flow are going to made up of multiple nodes inside that. You can create a flow that orchestrates the conversation by connecting multiple kinds of nodes such as triggers, messages, questions, variable management, conditions, topic management, and actions. Now each one is very useful. Like triggers are going to be nothing but phrases or events that initiates the topic. Most of the time triggers will be the starting one. After that you have a message which is going to send a message to the user. Question which is going to ask user questions and assign the response to a specific variable. Variable management which is going to allow you to set, get or reset the variable values with that. Conditions which are logical conditions branched into a flow based on the variable. If condition is true, it will go into the true branch. If it is false, it will go into the other branch. Then you have topic management, which is going to end a topic, redirect a different topic, or maybe a transfer to an external system also. And then at the end of this, we have a last one, which is action, which can call an action to perform an automated task. Now, if your question is how many types of topics can be there? Well, the answer is two. You can have custom topics or system topics. Custom topics are those topics that you create or you maybe inherit from an existing template. Custom topics represent the anticipated conversational dialogues that your agent can support. When you create an agent, it usually includes some predefined topics for some common conversational dialogues, such as greetings and farewells. It may also include some lesson topics that are provided as an example to help developers understand how to build their own topics. On the other hand, system topics are triggered by the system events such as conversation initiation, errors, or some unexpected input. You can't create or delete system topics, but you can disable them if you do not require in a particular agent scenario. If more than one triggers qualifies, triggers get executed in order to creation with the oldest first. If you'd like to change their behavior, you can set the priority in the node's priority span. We will try this kind of things when we do the lab part of this particular module. This diagram is actually showing you a fallback topic. The fallback system topic is particularly useful because it enables the agent to respond gracefully when a user enters an unexpected input that doesn't match the trigger of any custom topic. You can follow the flow on the slide to see how the fallback topics can handle the unexpected input. So you can see in the first case, in the left side, we have a user input. When user submits an input, the agent is going to use a natural language understanding model to pass that input into the user's intent. And then, based on the intent, it's going to attempt to find a custom topic with the corresponding trigger with that. If we found the custom topic, great. But if there is no matching custom topic available, then it will go into the fallback topic. The fallback topic is triggered through the unknown intent trigger. The fallback trigger can then ask the user to rephrase their input a reasonable number of times before giving up and redirecting the conversation to the escalate topic. You can see in this slide, it's showing you that it's going to give users 3 attempts to rephrase this. And after that also, if it is not done, it's going to going into escalate topic section, which can be used at the end of the conversation, and it's going to connect to a human operator where you can understand simply that your chatbot agent is not able to answer the question so that human can answer that. This is a typical fallback topic logical workflow, which is always suitable in most of the cases of chatbots. Hey guys, sorry for interruption. My name is Maruti and I'm here to make a very important announcement. I hope you are liking our videos and you're doing a continuous learning with us on an Azure cloud and AI related topics. If you are enjoying this thing, I'm going to announce skilltech.club, which is our upcoming website, which is going to be launched very soon. We are here to tell you one thing, that everyone who is a subscriber of this particular channel will get Azure Cloud and Azure AI related certification courses free of cost in skilltech.club. So you will be a part of the skilltech.club kind of a membership automatically free of cost. And everyone who's a subscriber of this particular channel will get those benefits which are available in that. So what are you waiting for? I request you to please subscribe to this channel and share it with your friends and families if they are also interested in Azure Cloud and AI learning. That's it from my side. Now you can carry on with your learning. Thank you. Now this is a very important slide because it's showing you how you can create generative answers using a generative AI. Now, generative AI is a type of artificial intelligence system that is using large language models to generate natural language responses based on prompts. And we all know this thing. If you're not familiar, I request you to check out my other videos which are focusing on generative AIs. To use generative AI in a topic, you can use create generative answers node. As you can see in this slide, we have a create generative answers node in which we are configuring it to send prompt usually to the user's input to an LLM, and then it's going to return the AI generated response. Basically, this is going to make a call to your LLM and then processing is going to happen at the large language model. The response which is generated from the large language model will be provided here in this particular flow. You can set additional configurational options also, where you can include knowledge source on which based on that you can provide your own data and you can generate answers. You can also specify custom moderations to set the balance between generating creative responses versus more relevant answers. And you can also do prompt customizations to add additional instructions to the prompt that affects that how your LLM will respond. Now, as we have seen in the previous slide, that one of the options which was mentioned was knowledge source. Now, by default, generative AI functionality in Copilot Studio is based on the general knowledge, which is actually available from the web. However, you can add a custom knowledge source as it is visible in this particular slide. You can actually add your knowledge source, which can be coming from Azure AI Search kind of a service, or maybe an Azure SQL database, or maybe you can also connect with some Salesforce or Zendesk kind of an account with that. Remember, this kind of enterprise data connections are right now in the preview, but very soon is going to be available for global availability. You can configure this in your Create Generative Answers node to use only a specific knowledge sources. And optionally, you can fail over to general knowledge from the web if there are no answers which are found in the knowledge sources which you have provided. When you are using a website as a generative AI resource, there are a few things which you have to keep in mind. First, make sure that you use a real URL and not the one which is redirecting to another page. When you're using a real URL, then only it's going to allow you to retrieve the knowledge base from that. You cannot point to a website that requires authentication because there is no automated authentication mechanism available with this kind of an agent. So your websites that requires authentication or not indexed by the Bing cannot be used with this. Also, you need to have a website URL for generative answers can have up to 2 levels of depth. So you can see right now as visible in the slide, your URLs can have 2 levels of depth, like a trailing forward slash, however, is allowed. For example, if you have this kind of retail slash store slash US, then it's something which is going to be working like this. So up to retail and store is going to work, but not with the multiple depth with that. So up to 2 levels depth. After base URL, you can have 1 and 2 slashes. It is fine, but not more than 2. So this kind of a slashes and further categories will not work. So please keep all these things in mind. Now, when you are going to use documents for generative AI, you can upload files that can actually contain knowledge. These files can be documents with unstructured text or maybe a structured data, which is maybe in the format of CSV, comma separated value files. Also, make a note that when you upload files, these files are going to be stored in Dataverse and is going to be indexed, which can take some time before the knowledge which is available in the file is available for generative AI usage. You should note that while the files are stored securely to prevent the direct access to them in the Dataverse, the contents of the file are visible to all users of the agent. So there is no way to set permissions that do not allow some of the agent users to access the knowledge while preventing the access to by other users. So you cannot have this kind of permission-based configurations. Also, keep in mind the file size is limited to maximum 512 MB per upload. Also, only the text-based files are recommended for this kind of a knowledge base. Your images, audio, video, and other executable files or binary files are not supported in this. Now, this is a diagram which is actually showing you how you can use conversational boosting for the topic. The conversational boosting system topic is going to provide a way to generate AI answers to your user questions for which there is no matching custom topic trigger. It inserts an attempt to use generative AI to respond to an unknown intent before failing over to the fallback topic. If the create generate answer node in the topic generates a relevant AI response, it is returned to the users. Otherwise, the conversational flow moves into a fallback topic. And that is exactly what which is visible here. Now, in the previous slides, when we have seen this thing, as you can understand, this is a user input which is provided. If we found the matched input with the custom topic, it will go into that custom topic. If not, it's going to be going into conversational boosting topic. In this case, it will create a generated answer with that. If we got the generated answer, great. It's going to find the relevant answers generated by the AI. If not, then it's going to go into fallback topic. In that also, it's going to try multiple times. So maybe multiple attempts are going to be made to rephrase that from the user side. If it is still not possible to get the proper answer, it will hand over that to a human operator. This bottom configurational diagram is actually exactly same which we have seen in the fallback topic. The only thing is conversational boosting topic is just adding one additional loop inside this, which can be possible when you want to make sure that you want to boost your conversation with your system topic. Now let's understand how we can enable generative AI for intent recognition. Identifying the intent of the user is a very important task. By default, Copilot Studio uses classic language understanding model to parse and interpret users' input and determine the user's intent with that. As an alternative approach, you can enable generative AI to determine the most appropriate topics and actions to trigger based on the user input. You should also keep in mind that all the generative AI functionality in the topics that we have covered so far is actually available in either of this particular mode. However, if you want to have an agent which is triggered action automatically based on the user input, then you need to enable generative AI. Automatic task with actions. Actions are going to enable you to move your agent beyond and purely conversational solution. So it's not always true that you're going to give answer in the conversation. Sometimes you have to do an automated action with that. And that is where actions are going to help you. And that is where your actions are going to act as an AI agent and is going to automate the task on user's behalf. Your actions can be implemented as a Power Automate flows or maybe a custom skill. You can also use connectors to automate tasks in an external service. One way you can accomplish this is to include a call and action kind of a node in the topic flow. This approach works regardless of whether the agent is using generative AI or a classic language understanding model to determine the user's intent. In case of connectors to a service, you can use connectors to maybe manipulate a spreadsheet in an Excel online, or maybe you want to send an email, or maybe you want to get a forecast from an MSN weather information API. When your agent is configured to use generative AI to interpret the user's intent, you can create actions that are triggered automatically by the agent. In much the same way, the topics are executed in that. In this approach, actions are triggered directly by the agent and do not need to be included in the topic flow. These kind of actions are going to be triggered automatically by your agent. Now let's talk about publishing and distributing. Before you publish, you have to prepare to publish. So when all the agent has all the topics and actions which you need, you have configured it properly. You have to make sure that your generative AI functionalities are properly tested in the Copilot Studio environment. So once you are ready to publish it and distribute to the users, you have to first configure the security settings, particularly for authentication methods which you want your users to restrict the access of your agent, as well as the authentication method which you want to choose to determine that which channels you can deliver it through. Authentication options which are included in Copilots are no authentication, where basically anyone can use the agent through any channel, or Microsoft Entra authentication, which you can deliver through the agent, where they are going to pass through Microsoft Teams and Power Apps, or maybe Microsoft 365 Copilot. And then you can also have manual authentication, where you will be implementing a custom authentication solution using any particular identity provider such as Entra ID or any OAuth 2.0 provider. After all this thing, when you are ready to publish, you can publish your agent and deliver it to the users through the available channels. The channels which are included in this are Microsoft Teams, websites, email, or social media platforms. As you can see in the screenshot, social media platforms like Facebook, Skype, Line, Twilio, Telegram are actually available here as a partner channels. And please keep in mind, each channel needs to be configured independently. Obviously, once publishing is done, our work is not done. Once your agent has been published successfully, you have to focus on monitoring and agent analytics data. In our Copilot Studio, you can view the usage metrics, which includes summary, customer satisfaction, sessions, billing, and boost conversation kind of thing. Most of the time, customer satisfactions are going to associate with ratings from customers using your agent. Your sessions are going to be showing you downloadable transcript of agent sessions. Your billing is going to show you details about the cost which is incurred by your agent, while the boost conversations are going to show you the details of how often generative AI found relevant answers, and it's going to break down of reasons for the times it fails to do so. So basically, how good your agent or how bad it is in giving a conversational responses to your user is something which you can analyze using this. And basically, that's what which is going to be visible in the summary. The right side screenshot is showing you the summary tab, where it's actually showing you an overall usage summary associated with this. Obviously, you can dig deep into any of the particular tabs and you can see more detailed summarized information about that. Now, last but not the least, at the end of this particular module, I want to add on that if you really want to deep dive into Microsoft Copilot Studio and Microsoft Copilot, this is a link which I'm highlighting here. This link is going to help you to start your journey to explore Microsoft Copilots. You can see these are just 4 steps which I've mentioned on this page. Step 1, you understand Copilot. Step 2, you adopt Copilot. Step 3, you extend it. And step 4, you build it for your own purpose. And remember, at the below links of all 4 sections, you have a couple of videos by which you can watch and learn these things. So what are you waiting for? Start exploring Microsoft Copilots today. And I'm going to see you in my next video. Thank you.